Well, sit back, people. Take out your pen and your paper, as you probably wish to take notes on what I'm about to tell you. The life of Jesus Christ was not about religion at all. It was about compassion. Understand that Prime Creator looked down on the earth, saw all of the violence and all of the iniquity and all what was going on, and he said, "This is not good. I created perfection. This is not perfection. It has been corrupted, and I need to straighten it out." So, he sent an angel, the town of Bethlehem in Israel, to this child who was about to become a wife. This angel told her that she was going to conceive a son, and the son was going to be Almighty God in essence. And because he was going to take human form, he was going to experience what it was like to be human through the being known as Yeshua. But understand, when Jesus came to the earth, or Yeshua came to the earth, there was much turmoil going on in Israel. And the Romans were running rampant, actually, because Israel was what you call a, sort of like what you have in England, a commonwealth of Rome under their jurisdiction, occupation. So their government was Roman. But getting around this, understand when Yeshua was born, if you want to get he was not born on the 25th of December. No, he was not. He was actually born in the spring. The spring of that time. Understand, when Jesus, or Yeshua, was born, he came because of compassion from Prime Creator. And he had a mission. He knew his mission at a very early age. It was revealed to him. And he began his mission initially when he was 12 years old. Before that, he was like any other child, except he was a loving child. He did not show anger to anyone, whether it be nature, animals, insects, whatever. He was a very compassionate child. And he, whenever possible, he would assist his father, the carpenter, and learn the art of carpentry, and along with his father. So he was an apprentice to his father, earthly father, not heavenly father, but earthly father. So he began seeing the world. He would go on short trips with his father to different locations, and he would learn. He would see the anguish and the poverty and the suffering around him, and he had compassion. His healing ministry didn't just begin when he started out and gathering his disciples. His ministry started as a child. He came upon a creature lying on the stone road, and it was injured. A rabbit. He reached down, he picked up the rabbit. He raised the rabbit into the air and he said, "Thank you, Father." And he let the rabbit on the ground and it scampered off because it was no longer injured. His healing began long before his actual ministry. Whenever he saw someone that was suffering, whether it would be an animal or a human, he would heal them. He would also remind them, as he spoke with them, they said, "Oh, this is a miracle." And he says, "No, it's not. You can do it too. You have the same ability that I have." So early on, he would tell people this. And it was hard for them to comprehend. And then he showed them how to heal others and how to heal animals. So his ministry began early on. But when it came time for him to be more serious about what his mission was, he was told that he would suffer greatly. He was told that he would not be understood by many. He was told that he would be crucified by the Romans, by the Sadducees and all this, because they could not understand him. They saw this man of peace, and he was a man of peace. He showed no anger to anyone. And then then it comes a question: "Oh, that's not true because he overturned the tables in the temple." Well, he didn't. His father did. His father created a windstorm which overturned the tables. Had nothing to do with Jesus walking in and flipping them over. I mean, that was all done by Creator, and a sudden windstorm inside the temple. So Jesus showed no anger of any kind to anyone or anything. That was his nature. Understand, Jesus was not about religion or any of that. When he told his disciples to go out and preach the good word, preach the reality of who and what they are, he didn't say, "I'm going to set up my church and I'm going to have Peter lead it." No. That's all verses in the Bible. But understand, he was a man of compassion. He was a child of compassion. There was not an angry cell in his body at all. Jesus had also, through Mary and Joseph, also had a brother, John. And of course, John was born shortly after him as well, a year after. But he had a brother, John. And as having a younger brother, he protected his younger brother. But he would never, he would simply talk with his children and show them the error of their wickedness through compassion. Therefore, they would not, lay harm to his brother or him, because they couldn't. They, in a sense, they feared him because he was so nice, so kind, so compassionate, and they couldn't understand that, because in their world, compassion was a rarity. The Romans were not compassionate people. The Roman soldiers, because of their standard as Roman soldiers, they assumed they could do whatever they wanted to, and there would be no consequences of it. Well, you see how that ended when Rome ended up being burnt to the ground, as far as being attacked and taken over. That's what came later. But anyway, back to Jesus, Yeshua. He was not about religion. Christianity was not the only religion at that time. You had, in England, you had the Druids. You had the study of witchcraft, which was not satanic. It was simply the stewardship of the earth through herbs and through plants and things of this nature. Magic was alive and well at that time. Magic was all over the world, everywhere. But it was a very misunderstood situation. Going back to Yeshua in Israel. At the age of 12, he entered into the synagogue in Israel. And he astounded the teachers with his knowledge. He knew more about the scriptures than they did. And that perplexed them. I need to be skipping on ahead here from the child to his actual adult mission. When he went up into the mountains to meditate, and when he went up there, he was visited by an angel of darkness, or what you term Lucifer, who tempted him several ways. However, he could not sway, he could not break Yeshua at all. And he realized this and he left him. He knew it was no good to try and sway him. It wasn't going to happen. After that, he came down from the mountain, went to his father, and he said, I'm going. I have a mission. Been revealed to me, and I have a mission, and I'm going. He bid his family farewell, hugged his brother, and off he went. And he began gathering his disciples, or his students, if you will. When I say disciples, I'll say students, because that's what they were. They were learning his ways. They were learning how to heal. Jesus healed, yes, but he didn't do it on his own. He also enabled, through knowledge, enabled his students to do exactly the same thing. And they were able to do it because they knew they could. So they did. So on to his mission, he did many wonderful healings. He did many feats of I won't say magic, miracles, such as changing water into wine. And that also can be done even today. People can do that too, if they only know they can do it. That's the key. You have to know that you can. All of Yeshua's teachings, he would remind you, marvel not what I do, for greater shall you do, if you only know you can do it. And that's in the original scriptures, not in your everyday Bibles, because it was rewritten and many stuff was left out due to the writings of the Bible for it to be approved, to be able to be published. So, all the wonderful phrases that needed to be in there were not included, because the powers that want to be at that time did not want you to know of your godhood, of your being able to heal others. They wanted to be in charge. So it wasn't about religion. Now, after Jesus was crucified and put into the tomb, actually before that, when the soldier walked up to him and pulled him down from the cross and saw there was no signs of life, assumed he was dead. Therefore, they put him, a merchant begged them to receive his body, and they gave it to him, and he put it in a tomb. And then 3 days later, Yeshua awoke and left the tomb. Stone was not rolled away by an angel. It was rolled away by himself, because he had the power to do it, called telekinesis. Now, understand, all of you listening to this call have the same exact abilities that Yeshua had. You have them too. You've been so indoctrinated against them that you don't know you have them. But you do. After the ascension, that they proclaimed was ascension, he met Mary Magdalene, and he met Mary and met a few others after his leaving the tomb. And they ran and they told the other disciples that they have seen the Master and that he was alive, that he was not dead. And Jesus explained to them that when he was on the cross and he said, "It is finished," he lowered his body metabolism and functions to that of a dead man. And he did that through thought. When they took him down and put him in the tomb, 3 days later, he simply woke up and left. Now, I said, okay, if that's so, then what about when he ascended? Okay, let's go there. At the time, he bid farewell to his students, or disciples, as you call them. And he said, I'm going home to my Father. And as they watched his body rise into the air, it was quite interesting, because as they watched him, he was on the top of on the Mount of Ascension, there was a beam of light that came down, engulfed his body, and he rose up inside of this light into a cloud. Inside that cloud was a ship that received him and took him home. That's how Jesus ascended. Now, understand, it wasn't about religion, and it's not about religion today. There's so many doctrines, so many ways to tell the story, and yet they missed the point. It's not about religion. It's about compassion. It's about showing people that they have the same abilities as he had when he walked the planet. It was never about religion at all. In fact, Jesus said, "Where two or more gathered in my name," that could be considered a church. It could be out under a tree. It could be in your living room. It matters not whether you go to a church and listen to a minister, a preacher, because you can listen to the voice of Almighty in your own living room, and you can receive it in your own living room. You don't have to be in a church. So, a lot of what was spoken through the Gospels, some was exaggerated, some was out and out false. However, when people thought that Jesus went into the temple and turned the tables, the money changers over, it wasn't anything. It wasn't his doing at all. It was Yeshua's Father that did that. So you have to understand that Jesus was a compassionate man, and he showed no malice, no what you call anger to anyone, ever. His life was an example for you to follow. And that's the example you need to follow today. You need to show compassion to each and every human you come in contact with. Understand, the more you love, the more you send out compassion in the form of a boost, a healing boost, or a love boost, or whatever, you are changing things for the better. Never show any anger to anyone. I'm talking to you, Zorra. Understand, on the road, they have as much right to be on the road as you do. So do not think that you are the king of the road, because you're not. Show compassion. Show love. In all you do, only show love. If the world would do that, there would not be any need for armies. There would not be any need for what is going on right now. Each and every one of you have the ability to heal. Don't be afraid to go out and show your ability. Show your gift that you were born with. Each and every one of you are healers. Now act like it. If you're in your home and you're feeling sickly, simply say, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I receive from the God or goddess of my being. I am completely healed. There is no virus, and I know it. And there won't be. The virus cannot exist in a positive person at all. In a loving, compassionate being, the virus has no place. No power, nothing. It's only when you allow it to occur, or you allow it to take possession of you, will you have it. And I can tell you right now that device hanging on the wall or sitting on his table called the television, turn it off. You do not need to listen to all of the propaganda and all of the falsity of what is going on to enter into your space. You need to be only around positive thinking people. This goes for your families as well. Show compassion to them, even though they don't understand you. Show compassion to them anyway. A simple word, say, I love you, goes a long way. You can go out when you're out and about, and you're out shopping for your family or for yourself. And people walk by and you look at them and they have a worried look on them, on their faces. Look at them and say, I love you. Because that is what I am, love. Not the kind of love you're thinking about with sex. No, none of that. Just show compassion from yourself, a wave of compassion and love out to those people. They'll thank you for it, because that is who you are. You are the same as Yeshua. You are the same as Planet Creator. You are co-creators of this planet. You are co-creators of your reality. You yourself have the power to change every single aspect of the situation that is you find yourself in right now. All you have to do is buckle down and do it. I think that's one of the phrases they use. Anyway, but understand, beloved gods and goddesses, what is the essence of that? I am telling you, when I tell you this, your gods and goddesses and your healers, that is a fact. It is not a belief. It is not hearsay. It is a fact. Just write this down. Believing does not accomplish. Knowing does. Plain and simple. Every single wonderful light worker listening to this call, do not be shut up in your home. Go out and preach the good word you're hearing right now. Show people that they are not weaklings. They are not limited beings. Show them the love and compassion that we're showing you right now on this call. Don't be afraid, because you cannot catch the virus if you don't want it or allow it. Just show love and compassion to each and every human you walk or you meet. I know people right now, after the wave hit, and engulfed the planet, many of them went out at that time. And they walked up and just hugged people. He said, I love you, I understand. And the people that received the hug were shocked. They couldn't understand what was going on. And they said, why did you hug me? Because you needed it. I mean, it is so simple. And you say, well, don't go up and hug someone, you may catch the virus. No, forget that. Don't worry about that. That's a no thing. You already understand what that is all about. People who ascend from the virus, they don't just ascend from the virus itself. There's other issues going on in their body already. And the virus just contributes to it. And then they find themselves ascending. So just remember, all of those people that you have seen on your media that have what you term died, did not die at all. You will not see any signs of suffering on any of them. You will only see faces of calm and love and compassion and happiness, because they no longer have to endure the suffering that they were doing on the surface. They are now in full fifth dimension, in full fifth dimensional bodies, and that is your reward after ascension. You go right into a full fifth dimensional body. So do not fear ascension. I'm not saying go out and look for it, but I'm just saying do not fall prey to any of the fear that is being perpetrated by the media. Don't listen to the news broadcasts and things of this nature, because it draws you down. It takes your vibrations down. It puts the thoughts of worry and the thoughts of fear into you by listening and watching it. So why do you do it? Because you don't know any better? But you do know better. Very much. You are endless galactic beings. And there is nothing that can come against you